So before now, I've had people talk about, okay, we have the call of God, and they had an encounter and all, but never in my wildest dream did I think that, okay, um, it could be me, you know. Yeah, my mom, yeah, my mom was a pastor. I would go with her to some programs then, and sometimes you just don't wrap your head around some of these things. You know it's happening, but you maybe don't pay attention, or I mean, you don't just know more. So something in you is just saying, okay, well, if they are doing it, so good for them. Okay, yeah, but there was something very, very strategic, that I noticed. I had this interest, this undying interest for the things of God. I think I was that girl that would maybe go for a party on Friday, but still go for choir practice on Saturday. Yeah. So I think I was that type of girl. You know, Sometimes when the love of God and the love for God is inside, you can't explain it. It just adds to you. It's just something you look out for. So for me, that's how it was. And fast forward to this particular meeting where I attended. Prior to that, I think I was educated that trials and struggles were just a necessary part of life. But it was something I never really wanted to adjust to. I mean, it was almost impossible for me to think that God will make us and God will create this universe beautiful like this and put struggles and pain. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Especially for me, I was a child that grew up with a lot of pains. I had some form of skin reactions to insect bites. So if you say I didn't want any more pain, you will be right. So that is how my mindset was growing up. And then I got married, and then I realized that there were struggles, and then a part of me said there must be a solution to this. There has to be a solution to this. And I went to my my normal mindset, my normal experience, and of how things are solved, which I saw my mom do, and for her it was praying to God and fellowshipping with other brethren. So I found myself, I went for a meeting and I met this woman of God. And interestingly, she was praying for people and she was prophesying. And then I was just hoping that, okay, yes, I'll get an answer once and for all to all the unanswered questions in my life, which is while the struggle, all of a sudden, I was walking. I felt I had everything sorted out. I felt that prior to now, I had everything working for me. So for things not to work, became like a surprise to me. And then, secondly, just as I said, I didn't want any pain in a struggle. So, while on that queue, I felt that she was going to just tell me what the problem is, and it was just going to be solved in a twinkle of an eye. But I remember vividly her telling me that you go and ask God what He wants you to do for Him. And I'm like, go and ask God? Why am I here? But yeah. And just as I said, oh, my mom is someone that is very, very close to God, somebody that loves God so much. And it was easy for me to understand what it means to go and ask God. I didn't ask further, you know, and the best way that I knew how to ask God was to go in my private place, my house, my room, start praying, start fasting, start seeking the face of God, and that was what I did. Did I get to hear God? Yes, I did. I I had an encounter in one of the darkest moments of my life. The whole situation did not just go off because I went to seek God. No, I think it was the beginning of something big for me. I think what was striking for me was when I realized that it wasn't just me going through that kind of struggle. I I I would meet some women and they would tell me their own experiences, especially in marriage and especially if you're called. So there was just something about being called on one side and being married on another side. I think it was related, being called and then being married, or being married and being called. I mean, it was the beginning of something supernatural. So I that was after days of fasting, days of crying, days of singing at night and asking God, just just help me. Yeah, so I had this beautiful encounter where I had a voice of God tell me Bethel, and prior to that time I didn't know about the story of Jacob's encounter with God, but I know that when I had Bethel that night while I was praying, I could see a staircase go up to heaven, just go up into the sky, a white staircase. And I was like, okay, Father, speak, and I would hear. And that's that was the major start of a ton of events in my life. I remember him sending me to a colleague. One would think that he would just tell you where the password is to a vault that is filled with money and gold. But sweet of God, he sent me to go and pray with a colleague of mine and go and tell a colleague of mine to remember his love, his sacrifice for him, and give him deep secrets of what he wants him to do next. Amazing. And he called the man's name. So I remember at that time going to tell the man, and the man was saying, this has to be God, because this secret was actually my encounter with my dad many years back. The man was like 50. So, and I had just, been working with him for a year. So it was almost impossible for me to have known what happened when he was younger. So my doubts of any sort about supernatural encounters just faded away. And just as I said, another aspect of my life began where God will speak and then I will hear, and then God will speak and then I will hear. Did it come with struggles? Of course. Oh, it was like the gate of people that will doubt you. It was like the gates of people that knew your past was just flung open. And then, whoa, especially in the Christian community, there was a lot of talk here and there. Some people were reaching out. Some people did not even understand what was going on. I think the struggle is not much on the side of the people. There will always be people and their opinion. But for me now, the way I knew how it was done was, okay, go get somebody you could model after, somebody that could pray with you. And for me, that was a tussle. Like they couldn't even see it, and I know what I would come back home and my place of prayer. I know the encounters I was having, I know the visions I was having, but the people I had to go and talk to at that time didn't even understand what was going on. And some understood, but now I know that maybe they were not told to work with me because they just did not give me the red light that I was looking for, which is looking for a mentor to train me. Okay, so it was full of turbulence, trying to understand my left from my right, and trying to find someone that would teach me. But at the end of the day, I realized that I could hear a voice, and then God bless the soul of my mom. She did what she could at that time, although I had to fall back to her. I just felt that I needed someone else, but did it work? No. The good news is there are a lot of people God sent me to, and there were so many confirmations. That's the joy of being called, where you see somebody almost making the wrong decision or almost in a situation that would have destroyed the person, and then you step in, and then there are testimonies. That's for me is one thing I would never give up this experience for. No, never. And that has been my journey. I don't think we have much to say when we're called. You just obey, and just as I said, rely on the Holy Spirit and just keep moving on. And time will settle everything, all the storm, all the confusion. Time will, and encounters and experiences will. So stay positive and keep moving. God got you.